pleasantries. Jack Christine, J-A-C-K, Christine, C-H-R-I-S-T-I-N-E, Chief Operating Officer for Charlotte Douglas International Airport. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the airport. This is our annual tradition of talking with everyone about the upcoming summer travel, which kicks off here at the airport this weekend with the celebration of Memorial Day. We are going to be joined this morning by Katie Cody with American Airlines and Kevin Frederick with Transportation Security Administration, and they'll be coming up to speak in a few minutes. As is typical for the holiday weekend coming into summer, we do expect some larger crowds. Particularly Thursday and Friday of this week, we'll have in excess of 30,000 local customers that are going to be coming through the security checkpoints. And so we always want to make sure that the folks coming to the airport during these peak times understand what to expect and give them some tips for what they ought to be doing as they get in and around the airport, so that we can make sure that we get them to their aircraft so that they can depart on time. From an overall perspective, we do expect this to be on par with previous summer travel, and we'll expect to see peaks throughout the summer, starting with after Memorial Day. Will quickly be followed up by the end of the school year. That is typically a very heavy time for us. And then the holiday weekend over 4th of July tends to be another one of our, what we'll call our super peaks. And so we want to make sure that folks understand throughout the summer season, we will have very busy days here at the airport trying to accommodate all the travelers who are trying to get to where they're trying to go. We want to include some information about our parking. We do have a free cell phone lot if you're coming to pick up passengers here at the airport. That is available. It is alongside our long-term 1 parking lot as you come in the main entrance of the airport. Please look for that. It'll be on your right-hand side. That is 150 free spaces that are available for customers to use while they wait for their passengers to arrive in Charlotte and get their baggage. So we would ask that if you are going to use that facility to contact your passenger when they get their bags, or if they don't have bags when they get to the curb, because that can take a little bit of time, and we don't want folks that have to circulate around the terminal to pick up their passengers. We do anticipate that we will have adequate parking over the summer peak period. So we have, over the last couple of years, added a couple of thousand parking spaces in different parking lots around the airport. And so we anticipate that we'll be okay over the summer, but we will be busy. So it won't be abnormal to see that lots are full, but we do anticipate that we will have an adequate amount of parking for all of our customers coming to the airport. We encourage folks to check the real-time parking conditions prior to coming to the airport, and you can do that at parking.charlotteairport.com or by calling 704-359-5555. That is an automated line that will give you the current status of all the parking lots here at the airport for public parking. As a reminder, if you are going to be picking folks up on the curb, there is absolutely no parking, and towing is strictly enforced. That is for everyone's safety. Don't have any issues on the curb, and to also help us manage the traffic coming up to the curb front. It is, as usual, very busy, and we want to make sure that we don't have vehicles waiting to get to the curb if we can help that. You can visit CLTairport.com for all of our current parking rates, or call the parking line at 359-4910. To get up-to-date flight information, you can call 704-359-DATA, D-A-T-A, which is also 3282. And also, we encourage everyone to follow the airport via social media on our Twitter feed at cltairport.com. And as always, don't forget to pack your patience, because that is one of the things that we all hope that everyone can do while they try and manage through our security lines and our ticket counters. So we are looking forward to having all of our customers come through the airport again this year. We are staffing up to make sure that we have adequate support here to get people where they need to be. And we just ask that you do arrive early. Don't wait till the last minute to get here to leave. It makes it much more stressful. I can speak to that personally. I've done that. I made that mistake myself. You don't want to do that. So please come to the airport early. Take advantage of our concessions that we have in the terminal, and relax while you wait for your flight. So with that, I will turn it over to Katie Cody with American Airlines, and she'll talk with you all about how the airline is prepared to help the customers as well. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Katie Cody with American Airlines, Katie Cody, spokesperson is fine. So a few tips for travelers as they're coming through on American Airlines. We do fly about 90% of the flights out of here, so chances are if you're flying out of Charlotte, 9 out of 10 of you are flying on American. We do have very busy flights over the next week or so. I checked this morning, and we are very booked solid today, especially, as well as next weekend. I think a lot of people are trying to get their last-minute business trips in today, so we have a lot of outgoing passengers. A few tips: make sure you check the app ahead of time. We have a lot more capability on our app these days. It'll ping you ahead of time if something's going on with your flight. You'll be able to rebook online. Lots of additional things that you can do that would be just the same as waiting in the long customer service lines. So certainly encourage folks to use the app. You can download your boarding pass onto your app, never even have to go to the ticket counter. That'll save you some time as well. So lots of ways that you can use technology to help you get through the airport faster these days. Again, make sure you arrive in plenty of time. Check the baggage policies ahead of time. A lot of folks that are traveling this summer are leisure travelers, so they're not used to traveling as much. They might fly once a year versus us business travelers who fly every other week or so. So make sure that you know the policies. We do have basic economy tickets this year, which means that you need to make sure you only have one bag that goes under your seat if you're in that category of seats. It'll give you a heads up about 4 times on the app and when you check in to make sure that you know that. So if you're bringing another bag, you need to check that at the counter, or there will be an additional fee at the gate. So that's something for our passengers to know. It's something new this year on a lot of our flights. And again, just make sure you're reading policies, reading your baggage policies ahead of time, using the app, checking in with AA.com before you fly, and that should alleviate a lot of your issues. So thanks very much, and I'm happy to answer any questions after. Thanks. I'm going to turn it over to Kevin with TSA.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Kevin Frederick, Kevin Frederick, and I'm the Federal Security Director here at Charlotte Douglas for the TSA. Now, as far as the key to a stress-free experience at the airport is preparation, especially for those travelers that are not, again, the frequent travelers, like business-type travelers. I highly recommend that you go on the TSA.gov website a few days before you're about to travel. In that website, you can see all kinds of advice as far as what to expect once you get to the airport at that screening checkpoint. It'll go over security screening procedures. It'll tell you what you can or cannot bring on board the plane, and so I highly recommend you go there. We also have a fairly new app called My TSA, and go ahead and put that on, and it gives you an up-to-date status on what the conditions look like at the airport you're departing from. It also lets you know what the peak volumes of the time are for that day, so it's highly recommended that you go ahead and download that app onto your personal phone. Now again, preparation. So before you pack your bags, you shouldn't wait until the last minute. You should go ahead a couple days beforehand. You should inspect all the bags that you're bringing. There might have been something left in there from the last trip that you had that you don't want to bring through the security checkpoint, especially firearms. We found 28 firearms this year at the security checkpoint, and I'm here to tell you, firearms are not allowed at any security checkpoint. There is a right way and a wrong way to bring a firearm on board a commercial aircraft. Number one, it has to go into your checked baggage. It has to be declared with the airlines when you get to the ticket counter. It must be in a locked, hard-sided case, and it needs to be unloaded. Make sure you declare it to the airlines as well. So you can bring it there. You cannot bring it through the checkpoint. If you bring it through the checkpoint, we're going to find it. CMPD will cite or arrest you. You will lose that firearm. You will face a penalty of up to $13,000, a civil penalty. And you will also, if you're a pre-check passenger, you're finding in a pre-check lane, you're going to lose that privilege for up to 3 years. So we talk about getting to the airport early. Recommended for domestic flights, you get here 2 hours before your scheduled departure time. 3 hours for an international flight. Now that will make sure that any unexpected delays are accounted for, especially like for an example, if we do find a firearm on the checkpoint, that'll shut that lane down, so it's going to slow it down for everyone else. So, all right, get there 2 hours before a domestic flight, be nice, stress-free. When you get to the checkpoint, make sure you're listening to the officer at the head of the line. They're going to tell you exactly what to do, how to prepare your bags to get through the x-ray machine. They'll tell you what to take out, what needs to go in a separate bin. And we have a relatively new procedure at all TSA checkpoints throughout the country, and that requires any device that's larger than a cell phone to be taken out, any electronic device, taken out of your carry-on bags and put in a separate bin. What that does, it allows the x-ray operator to have an uncluttered image of your bag to make sure that there's nothing prohibited in there. Also, it's not required, but highly recommended that you take food items out of there. You can bring food with you on your carry-on bags, but if you do have it in your bag, chances are it's going to alarm, and we're going to have to inspect the bag, which is going to slow it down again for you and for everyone else in line. Finally, I highly recommend that if you're not already enrolled in a trusted traveler program, you do so. TSA PreCheck, or CBP's Global Entry Program, is a tremendous program that will pretty much guarantee that you'll get to the checkpoint in less than 5 minutes. You won't have to take off your shoes, your belt, light jacket can remain on, computers stay in the bag, and like I said, every major checkpoint has pre-check lanes you can get through in pretty much less than 5 minutes. Programs are very inexpensive for what the service that you get. $85 for that TSA pre-check and $100 for the global entry, and that's good for 5 years. Okay, we're ready, I guess. That's about all I want to share with you, but we are ready for one-on-ones if necessary. Thank you.
Yeah, you can stand up here, I guess, if you want.
Okay.
I don't know if you mentioned this. I apologize if you did. Do you have any idea, like numbers-wise, this year compared to last year, what you guys were expecting?
We're projecting that we'll have a few hundred, or maybe up to a couple thousand more than what we had last year. Right now, we're projecting about 32,000 for Friday, as an example. A year prior to this, we were looking at about 29,000. So it's representing a couple percentage points bump, which is typical for what we would see this time of year. But from an overall perspective, to give you a global perspective, last year our highest day was 34,006, and so 32,000 day is a very, very busy day for us. So we're anticipating a pretty big crowd.
And do you always assume that Memorial Day and days like Labor Day are your busiest throughout the entire summer?
Well, Memorial Day typically is one of our busier times, and so we see that year over year, and so we're always preparing for those peaks that we can tell when they're going to happen. So Memorial Day is always a big one. The day after school lets out is always a big couple days there. And then 4th of July, especially depending on where 4th of July hits in a week, we can see bigger crowds. So last year, I think 4th of July might have been on a Friday, or actually I take it back. The 30th of June was on a Friday, and it led into a long weekend. So we had some really big peaks that day too.
With Destination CLT, where are you guys at in that process, and what's going to be happening over the summer?
Okay, so Destination CLT is our capital program here at the airport. You can see just behind you, we've got a number of projects that are going on. The Terminal Curb Front roadway will continue construction throughout summer into the wintertime. We're hoping to finish in spring of next year on the roadway. And then that'll give way to the terminal lobby expansion project, which will start as soon as that roadway is finished. We also have Concourse A expansion, which is off to the west of the terminal. That is a new 9-gate expansion that will open in July. So we're working really feverishly right now to try and finish that work and get that done so that we can open that up and add some capacity, gate capacity here at the airport. So we're very excited to bring that online. But that's tracking for the middle of July to have the first flights out of that concourse. Then we have the terminal renovations that are also underway. Concourse B has been underway since the first of the year, It's progressing well. We have parts of the renovations that are complete on the far end of the concourse, and we're working our way back up to the main terminal. But that work will continue throughout the summer as well. Folks who've been in Concourse B know that we have one of the sets of restrooms closed right now for renovation. They'll open up about mid-June, and then we won't take the other set of restrooms down until after we get through the summer push, and then we'll push real hard to get those restrooms renovated before Thanksgiving. So we're in the middle of it right now, and it's been going well, but it is an inconvenience to our passengers. We realize that, but we're asking for everyone to just give us a little patience, and by November it'll look fantastic, and that is going to be a good representation of what the other concourses will look like over the next 2 years as we renovate those as well. Anybody else? Okay, thank you.